I've never seen someone do so much. I've never seen someone do so much. I don't even know where to start because I started somewhere and then I was going down and I'm like, I'm just coming on to more accomplishments. And we are joined today on Up Close and Personal by, Desiree, right? She joins us, to speak to us even further about, what she has come up to do in the world, what she has done, some of her accomplishments. Desiree Karabo Reddy with the stage name Desiree K, which was born in 92. And, she looks quite young. She looks quite young. When I looked at her, she was coming in, I'm like, yo, peers of mine. We are equals here, and I wanted to say the difference, but I'm not going to say the difference.
Yeah. Say it. I'm curious. Say it.
There's about like any 9-year difference between us.
Oh, am I that old?
I'm the older one. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
Well, you don't look 9 years younger than me at all. I thought you were a teenager. Given this is a university platform, I'm like, you just got into your first year,
Thank you. She is a media personality, a singer, a rapper, a songwriter, an entrepreneur, CEO and founder of Desiree K Trading, which can be found at www.desirek.co.za. She is now also an ambassador for Yobuningi, a business-to-business networking company passionate about art and currently infusing Eastern culture and traditions in her existing crafts as a Bharatanatyam dance student at the Shivoham Fine Arts.
Yes, darling, we're getting there.
She has attended the Nkhoso Primary School in the Bediela rural of Gamula, brother,
yes.
And then proceeded to do high school in Sibija Senior Secondary School before her distance learning at tertiary at Intech College for Television and Production Theory. And she is quite the superstar. She is quite great. She's going to be speaking to us even further about the work she does. She's also a podcast host, engaging with audience through her show called The Roundtable Talk, produced by Maximum Style Records and Publishing and Media Landscape. The platform allows her to delve into diverse topics, showcasing her versatility and connecting with listeners on such a more personal level. Desiree, how are you?
I'm doing well, darling. Thank you.
It's always so inspiring to speak to people who do so much, right? Yeah. We as people in the media are always encouraged to be multifaceted, and when you meet people who are way ahead of you in the game, and they're so multifaceted and they cover so many things and they're able to do so many things, it's one of the most inspiring things. How are you feeling, knowing that you're able to do so many things, and that if should an opportunity come tomorrow to be a radio host, to be a podcast host, maybe for a different channel, to be a television presenter, that everything you could do that?
I feel very secured because I know for a fact that I can fall back on anything based on my experience. And the nice thing about our media industry is that it is not mandatory to get the education if you have the talent, right? So if you can invest your time on perfecting your talent and accumulating knowledge via commitment, you are definitely safe. You're as good as having your master's. So you can fall back on something. So I really feel comfortable, and I know that I'm safe for the future.
You've come to do so many things, right? And you are multifaceted. Where did it all begin? Did you always have a desire to do so many things, or did it just start with one thing and it expanded to the other?
When I was younger, I was a rapper. So, and I was still in school, high school, in the rural areas. And every single time I had an interview, I was told during those days, of course, the mentality was just like straightforward like that. So they were like, but you can't do all of these things. And my role model was EVE. I don't know if you remember EVE, the rapper. And if you followed her, she was a fashion designer. She did some comedy. She did some rap. She was acting, and she was producing and doing so many things at once, and just showing up every single time she drops a project. It would be as if that's the only thing she does for a living. And I drew my inspiration from there, and I was like, as a woman, I'm capable of doing anything. And I was just, what do you call us? The Mandela's generation.
Born free.
We born free, right?
Yes.
So I took advantage of my existence and the time that I existed in.
Growing up in Gamulepo, or Gamulapo rather, in Limpopo, must have presented itself as a challenge to some extent, especially with pursuing some of the things in which you have gone on to pursue. You know, how much of a challenge and how much did you have to overcome to be where you are, given the background you have?
Look, during the time I was growing up, the mentality was that you should be a teacher, a social worker, a police officer. You know, those government-based jobs that are very secured, and they know that, okay, you're employed and you'll be paid every month. And looking at being a media personality was a disadvantage. I remember sitting in a classroom having people telling me that that is not a career. I will not be able to make a success of my life. But my independent and strong-minded personality has always placed me in places that people thought you can't go to. And it was nice for me to kickstart it and show up as the person I always wanted to be. So you just have to know what you're doing and how to navigate the career and make it work for you.
One of the big questions then becomes time management.
Yes.
Right? You are so multifaceted and you're doing quite a number of things. How do you then manage the time? Where do you find time to, become, a model and, also do your arts and also be the host that you are? How do you divide your time? Because we all have the same 24 hours, but
I know, right? And you know what? I've always tried to be an ordinary human being and get a job, but I was always fired.
Why were you always fired?
Because I've got my mind of my own. And this is when I knew that I can't work for anybody. I have to create something that can belong to me. And even if I can create opportunities for others in it, it has to be done. And so I told you I'm a hermit, right? I spend so much of my time alone in nature. I'm such a holistic person. And I don't like to engage in drama and everything because it takes away from all your time. I spend my time selfishly because I make sure that I've got plans that I want to, and goals that I set in my life, and spending too much of time in useless situations or placing myself in the circles that don't really add value in my life is something that I am quite aware of. I make sure that I spend my time appropriately, and I invest so much of time in the things that can better my life and others. Making an impact is always being a thing, but it comes with compromises. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party. Even if I'm a performer, you'll find me in a club for maximum an hour. And I'm out. You see? Because I'm normally performing like 15 minutes. And then you have to say hello to people and make sure that you connect with your colleagues and then go.
What, prompted you to become an entrepreneur?
Because I was a female artist in this vicious industry. And every single time I got a record label offer, it was a matter of I have to also compromise my dignity in some way. And that to me did not make sense because my plan was always to build a reputation that can inspire young girls from rural areas and from the places that looks impossible for you to achieve your goals in the mainstream industry. And I didn't want to have a reputation of a notorious being. I wanted to be a popular brand, not a notorious one. And that says to a little girl, this is what I have to do to be like her if you make a success out of your journey. And that's one thing that I've always feared. And I was like, the safest place here is for me to create my own business. If I'm going to communicate to any male candidates in the media industry, I will be communicating to them as a business associate, not as somebody who's pleading for an opportunity.
I hear you. For the young people listening right now, wanting to be where you are, wanting to be as multifaceted as you are, wanting to be the champion that you are, what do you have to say to them?
I have to say, darling, there's so many things in this world that are very, very tempting. Have a diary, a limiting diary that says, I will be this person for this long, right? And be disciplined. Be that person for that long and stick to it. And then think about who else you want to be from then on. And this is how I've been doing it for my whole life. as you already exposed my age in the whole entire world, you already know I had 10 years of faces. This 10 years I will be a strictly businesswoman. And yesterday I was just reading my diary. Happy diary, not diary where things failed and people did stuff to you, but happy diary. And I was looking at it from the year 2017 to 2023, and I was reading all the happy moments. So that has shown me that writing all the happy moments in your life will motivate you and will give you a way forward. But if you are depressed and always writing about somebody breaking your heart and all types of negative things in your life, you end up being that unenergetic about life, very unexcited about the future. And that delays you. You feel heavy. You feel like you're useless. Nothing is developing. Nothing is progressing. And at the end of the day, that's what causes a lot of people to commit suicide or succumb to inebriation in unlimited levels or drug abuse. You know, as human, we can only plan, but the universe has already decided our journey. So if it's not working, it's not aligned with where you have to be.
Speaking to the importance of time and how we consume our time, wise words coming in from Desiree K right here on the area code. Now, before I let you go, for the people then who would like to follow your journey, you know, who would like to also support your business and who would like to engage even further with you, where can they find you and what are some of the products in which maybe you offer and such and such?
Okay, I'm currently very focused on my new journey, which is Mrs. Bold South Africa. I know a lot of people who know me would be like, why is she doing contests now at this age? No, so I love this pageant because it actually inspires adding an impact in our communities. It inspires married women and women who've got household responsibilities to step out there and add value in the communities. And as a humanitarian, that has always been my passion. And I found a platform for it. And so I'm taking advantage of the opportunity and the space that I'm living in through this journey of the pageantry with Mrs. Bold South Africa. If you would like to follow that journey, follow me on social media. I am Desiree Karabo Reddy on all my media platforms, and I will need your support, of course. I do a lot of charity work with Warriors with a Purpose. And Warriors with a Purpose, I was hoping we we're going to touch on that because it's one of the vital things in this phase of my life right now. But you'll tell me if we have time. If not, follow me on my social media to learn more about Warriors with a Purpose and see what we are doing, what kind of impact we're adding in other people's lives. And we're focusing mostly on cancer survivors and cancer battles. So it will be nice for the world to learn more about that because prevention is better than cure. And then I am, of course, a podcast host at Maximum Styles Record. All of it is all on my social media. You will find it there. And I know that they're not going to play my music today, but you know I'm a singer and I create nice music, and I'm like an international music creator. So I've got songs in Ethiopia. I've got songs in South Africa. You guys, if you want to check it out, go to my music website, which is DezryKaymusic.com. So that's DesireeKaymusic.com. You can learn more about my journey, my travels, my music from there. But on social media, I'm available and I'll be posting every day about everything that is important to me at this moment.
Thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We're left a minute before we have to go to the news. But thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. It's been quite an insightful conversation and it's been quite wonderful.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the platform and the invitation.